Hello, everyone. How are we doing today? Whoa, my camera is in the wrong place. It needs to be a little lower. Hello. Oh, come on. Come on. Fast screw it. How's everyone doing today? We all doing good? It's a pleasure to have everybody here. I am very much hoping that today goes really, really well. Because if it all works out the way that I want it to, then we're going to be able to do something very, very, very unique today. My plan, should everything work out, we're going to be able to host a officer's special today. And what does that mean? Well, that means that we're going to have the ability to get some of you fine folks in the chat onto an excursion. The reason I'm doing this is just a couple people, not many, just a few. I want to trial an excursion with the route we have planned just to see if it can be done. This is bugging me ever so slightly. It is just bugging me. There, that's better. Let me switch over to DJX here real quick. Just for some different music. So, let's get right into this, shall we? We are working on the railroad right now. We are setting up passenger trains that are going to be running. We do have Thomas here. I have not decided. Hey, welcome in. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. Good to see you. We're going to be doing quite a bit today. And the hope is that it all works out. That's the hope. If everything goes according to plan, we're going to be able to run this. I'm going to have it set up. We're probably going to borrow some of the passenger fleet. It's going to be a one-way trip. It's not going to be a two-way trip. Which reminds me, I should probably get the engine that's going to be hosting to come with. Or get its butt down here. Yeah, we're going to be using this engine to host this little adventure. I just realized that 950 is a little... It's just a little too large with the way that I have this written. I'm going to switch it to just default. Up there. At least on the tender, it'll be just default. I believe testing is very important. It is very important. Okay, so I'm going to send this engine all the way down the line. Let's go. Yeah, I know. I'm excited. If everything goes according to plan, people will be able to join. So if everything works out, we're going to have this excursion go off without a hitch. So send him on his way. Okay, you're there, so get you moving. I also need to prep the Vigilante. Because you've got a timetable departure. Of 1440, so we're gonna have to work around that. We're gonna have to work around 2 trains. That was a bit close. Jeez. And yes, the Vigilante is named after Vigi. For anyone who's wondering, who hasn't seen the Vigilante yet, it is named after a wonderful streamer whom I love so dear, who knows that this exists. We love Vigi? Yes, we do. So she knows that this exists and that I built this. And she's got her own passenger train and everything, so. I'm gonna have to get this interchange freight moved as well. I just realized that. Oh, I don't know who I'm gonna have take the interchange train. You know what? I'll store. Where's. Okay, it's over there. So I'll just store this over here. Let's see. Let me look at the timetable. I gotta figure this out for Silva, Bryson, Andrews. Silva, Bryson, Andrews. All right, so she'll get all set up and ready to roll. She's out of the way, so who can take... Oh, I've got a big engine down here. I can just use this big fella. He'll handle a freight going eastbound. Or no. Westbound. So that's going to take the westbound. This engine is just abandoned. It's been there for a hot minute. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Oh, shit. Okay. There's a lot of planning that's going into this. So there's a pickup there. Nothing there. That's not worth grabbing. And then it's got to go all the way down here. Oh, that's a thought. Oh, none of this got sorted out. Whoops. This didn't get sorted out where it needed to be. A little bit of lag over here. That's because there's a lot of stuff down there. All right, that can go there. Doesn't need the caboose, but I don't feel like cutting the caboose off. We got this beautiful Southern passenger train right here. I absolutely love this engine. Love this color. What a fitting song to be playing today. Okay, now if I remember, you are going to be in charge of the eastbound. What is your favorite color? Ooh, that's a good question. I kind of have a soft spot for purple. So I'd have to say either purple or a sky blue. Those would be the two I'd have to pick. So while those two are... Oh, wait, hold on. Stop you. Nice? Yeah. Thanks for that question. That's actually a very good question. It's a very good question. This is all in prep work to get our officer special rolling for those who can join. I was half tempted to haul the special with 6,500, but I realized that it's all the way on the wrong end of the railroad, so it can't do the job. Oh man, I know, she's pretty, isn't she? She's gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous, and she would be perfect for excursions. But I gotta have her do her work. So yeah, everything should be in order now, at least in this department. Everything should be in order. I find it funny that our excursion locomotive is currently chasing the passenger train because it's one station up. So here's the passenger train right here, and here's where our engine is. I think my favorite personal color is a teal or a turquoise. There's actually, I don't know if you can see it, but in this cab, there's a turquoise in the cab in here. So, yeah, it's pretty. Oh, hello, the chat just glitched out. Excuse me a second. Why did the chat just glitch out? That's weird. Hold on. Let me see what you said. My brain feels color-coded sometimes. You know what? That's fair. I'm gonna opt out of targeting. Okay. So yeah, I was tempted to try and move the Southern Crescent here to try and run the excursion, but again, the excursion is starting in Silva. This is Andrews. It would have to go all the way across the map down to here just to be on the run, and that is not something that I feel like is... How long will that take? According to the timetable, it's in Andrews. It would take about 2 hours. And that's in real time. That's not also counting the fact that it would have to get a helper to go over the grade. Because between Roto and Nantahala, there's this huge hill right here that it would have to traverse. And the Pacific isn't really fit for that, so it would need help. So it would have taken 2 hours, whereas just sending an engine that's already down here in this area, it left here and it's already here, and it only needs to travel this distance, and most of this it travels at like 45 miles an hour. So it's gonna get there at a pretty decent pace. I just realized that I don't need to run a caboose on this train yet, because it's too short. So anyway, where's my 9,000? Right here. So it's working on it. This is probably the second largest locomotive I have on the railroad right now. Actually just realized I can switch game modes, because I can show this off. So if I scroll all the way down, all of these are listed in power. So right around here, this is the T1 right here. This is a T1. So it's got this much tractive effort. I don't know if you can see that, but it has 106,900 pounds of pulling tractive effort, which is really strong. And then I've got 2 of these Jarls that have 141,000 and 116,000 respectively. So they're pretty powerful machines. I do realize that if any of you guys like come and join for the officers special, you're gonna have to get the mods if you don't have them already, which is why I'm gonna be running it, so that anyone who can't get the mods is gonna be able to at least ride alongside. I also realize I have to cut in the air here. Oh. That's good to know. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that there's a few things that I've had to get rid of and remove just because I'm not using them anymore. Oh, and it's starting to rain. That's a mod right there. That's actually not standard to the game. I'm gonna have to send you to this passing track, because the passenger train's gonna beat you there. Wait, this train is 769 tons, 704. These are almost identical in weight. This train and the one that 6500 is carrying. They're almost identical in weight. That's crazy. I didn't plan that either. Like, that's not planned. That's just standard weight for those 2 trains, I guess. So you're here. You're gonna stop here. You are way behind schedule as is. You're gonna leave. Your tracks should be lined up. Yeah, they are. It's just that one that isn't. So I'll have to worry about that when it gets there. If you don't mind me asking, how long does the process take to get all of this put together? It depends on... It really depends on how much work there is. Because if there's like 7, like at least 2 or 3 different trains running, it could take a few minutes to just put everything together if they're all kind of in the same place. But if it's all over the place, like this train has to run from Dillsboro right here, where it just left from, it's got to go all the way up here, grab this, and then it's got to run all the way down here. That's going to take hours. That's going to take actual hours. Same goes for this train right here. It's got to go from here, run all the way up the line, gather this stuff here, come down the line more, and run all the way to over here. So that's going to take a couple hours right there. And then, of course, you've got this industry here that needs to be looked at. You've got this industry here that requires paying attention to. So there's a lot. It can take anywhere from 45 minutes to several hours just to set up the railroad so that everything's cleared out. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Where are you? Oh, you're long past here. Whoops. You're over here. Is that just to maintain it? No, that's just to run the equipment. To fix equipment and stuff is its own time. So depending on how worn out your equipment gets, you can spend anywhere from a few hours to, I've seen overhauls in this game that take literal months to freaking do. So yeah, it's nuts how much work can go into this. Oh, there's the T1. Hang on, can I beat it to the crossing? Where's the road crossing? Where's the road crossing? Right here. We'll watch it go by. Yeah, it's entirely based on how screwed up the equipment is. Is it a process? It's a process, but for what I can see, it's a lot of passion going into this. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this train is gonna go into the hole here. The hole, or the hole, quote unquote, is a side track that you allow trains to pass through. And considering most of this is all single tracks and it's not double tracked, it's best to have these where you can. So it's gotta wait on this train to come through here, and then it's gotta wait on this little fella, who's not really little. I think that engine, yeah, it's not small. It's pretty large. But I've wanted to run it for a while, especially considering it got updated. So I think, yeah, okay, so the local is on the move now. Right here is the local. It's on the move. So it's gonna go from here all the way down to Silva, and then it's gonna come all the way back. There's the engine at Hewitt. There's the two bankers. So there's the two engines that help with the grade. And then I've got all this stuff down here. Pretty much everything now is just moving interchange. Does someone need to be present for that whole process? So technically speaking, no, because most of this can be automated. Hang on, wait. Another perfect opportunity. We get to watch the passenger train go by. Technically, you don't have to have people watching every single move that's made. But if you had more people on the save, you can have like 4 or 5 people doing multiple different tasks and running the railroad. So it is easier with more people, but one person could in theory do this. If I'm asking too much, please let me know. I am in love. I just love to listen. No, you are not asking too many questions at all. I actually prefer having people ask a ton of questions because it means that I can talk about this more. There's the passenger train blowing its whistle. Hold on. And yes, the passenger train has 2 locomotives because it's that heavy for these engines. I'm probably going to move these to another service at some point. Because that is a pretty darn heavy train for those 2 to be carrying. Right at the beginning, I didn't quite show this off. So as someone with very little knowledge of this, how would it compare? How would a comparison work with normal horsepower to a train of this weight? Okay, so let me turn this down. That's a bit loud. Okay, so to compare that train in particular, let's go look at it, because I was gonna. Okay, actually this is a great example. So this passenger train here has heavyweight passenger cars on it right here. These heavy steel coaches, a baggage car, and an observation coach. This little locomotive is a 10-wheeler, a T21. That means the T denotes its class, the 21 denotes how much power it carries. So if we go over here and we look at, a lot of this is mods, so don't get overwhelmed. Not all of this is in the game, like by standard. But if we go look at something like right here, the T21, see it has 21,900 pounds of tractive effort. So the 21 stands for is the tractive effort. This train, if we look at it, weighs 546 tons. That's with locomotive included. So this engine can easily handle this train because it's mostly running over flat terrain. It's not really running, I'm gonna just move this up ever so slightly. It's running over mostly flat terrain. However, if we jump back over to the big passenger train that's running, the coast to coast one as I call it. All right, and we look at this, it's gonna come out of the tunnel here in like 5 seconds or so. Where are you? There it is. You see the headlight. This train weighs 1,004 tons with these 2 Pacifics pulling it. I'll get into wheel arrangements here in just a second. But if we scroll down through the power ranks in the game, there's 2 Pacifics running it. There's the S39, and then there's the S39E. The E annotates that it's an express engine. So both of these have 39,000 pounds of tractive effort together. So that's somewhere around 60,000 pounds, give or take. Some math. But because the train is so heavy and it goes over the mountain range, it needs 2 engines to get it from point A to point B, because otherwise it's too slow and it doesn't follow the timetable. But the problem with this is fuel efficiency. These engines, these 2 in particular, they only carry 19 tons of coal and 17,000 gallons of water each. And they've gotten to the point where they're burning through 7 tons of coal and almost 9,000 gallons of water just to run this length. This one's burnt through almost 10. Almost a little over 10 tons of coal. Or no, a little over 8 tons of coal So it's burnt through more. So this one's working harder than that one is. Which means that this train is almost too heavy for these two to handle. Even with this train, these two still need a third engine to pull them over the grade. So my hope is that I can find a locomotive or afford a locomotive that can do the work of these two plus a third. Yeah, that's a lot of weight. And most of that is, all of that weight is not the locomotives. It is mostly these passenger cars. Because weight empty right here, it's 228,000, basically 229,000 pounds. So both of these engines, this one weighs almost 219,000 pounds. So one's a little bit lighter. But having these two get replaced, will it need a third to carry people on it? It's carrying people at the moment, but that's because it's been running from this area here all the way to here, which is mostly flatland running. But from here to here, you're going up a super steep hill, and then you're going down a super steep hill. So it needs an extra engine to go from here to here, and then it can take it on its own to here, and eventually here. Turning back around, it needs help to go from here all the way to here. And that's extra locomotives that get extra wear and tear and all kinds of stuff. So this is currently the problem line for this passenger train. So if I can find an engine that can theoretically do the work of 3 locomotives, it will drop my maintenance costs and drop my running costs. Because right now, they're at 89% condition, 87%. So these two are starting to get beat to hell running this line. They've also got almost about 300 miles on them each. So they've ran this route quite a while. And you can't see it because of the chat, so I'll bring it over here. Right here it says estimated repair time, 7 hours and 14 minutes. That's with one crew working on the repairs. That's with one crew working on the repairs. And you can increase the efficiency of repairs with more crew, but again, that costs more money. So that's where the problems lie. Speaking of which, did our little pass and our extra pass? Yes, it did. Okay, so now you can go to collect this. How do you make money in this game? There are 2 ways to make money. The bread and butter of the game is industries. So every industry has things that it orders, and they show up via what's called an interchange. So this right here, Silva Interchange, right here, is where some of the goods come in. But at the same time, you have all the way at the other end of the railroad, Andrews. And Andrews also has an interchange. So you get goods from both ends of the railroad going both directions. So you have some that stick here and just are for Andrews, but they will get stuff that's supposed to go all the way over to here, and vice versa. Silva will get stuff that's just supposed to stay in this area right here, but they'll get stuff that's supposed to go all the way over here. So you run the industries and you give them all their goods, and you get time efficiency bonuses for that. So you can make extra money by being fast. But there's a catch to that. Your ratings will suffer. So you have your overall rating, which is how good the railroad is altogether. You have your passenger rating, which is how well you perform in passenger work. You have your passenger equipment condition, so how good your passenger equipment is overall. You have your freight performance, which is like how good you ship, goods. And then you have your safety rating. Mine is very low. It is at 65%. That's pretty darn low for this game. You can max it out to 100 and get a bunch of bonuses for it. Or you can be insane and drop it all the way to 0 And that means your railroad is the least safe it can possibly be. It takes one wreck to drop this percentage fast. One little wreck, one hot journal box, which I'll explain in a second. Some equipment gets worn out because of an accident or whatever. All of that affects safety, which affects your overall rating. You can have a max of 110. I've never seen anything lower than maybe like an 80. So ratings can suffer a lot. And the second way you make money is obviously passenger trains. You can run, as far as I've figured, you can run, so there's risk and reward parts. Having high safety levels, but not being able to maintain everything properly. Yes, that is correct. So you can have the high risk of running freight exceptionally fast and getting, the bonuses and everything. But you run the risk of running your equipment harder. Whereas if you play it the other way, your equipment is safer, but you move a whole lot slower.
Your grandmother is attempting to reach you on your cell.
Why is my grandmother calling me right now? That was my grandmother calling. Yes, this is exceptionally fascinating. Like, in the main thing I play for the last couple of decades, I found out how to conquer a market pretty heavily, so I basically had a lot of gold in the game. Oh, that's cool. So that's actually something else that you can do. So you can go to finances and see all your finances of everything and how much you're making and whatever. But you can also, in this area, you can also take out loans, which I can't do right now because I don't have any milestones, let alone I was doing some stuff off camera. But you can take out loans in this game, and those affect your railroad too because you have to pay them off fast enough. And depending on how safe your railroad is or how efficient your railroad is, the more you can loan out. But milestones are so when you start the game, you start with just this section of track right here. You start with this section of track. Then you can buy the section of track from here to here. And then you start building track from here to here. Then you build track from here to here, around this area. And then you build from here all the way down to here. And then your final section of construction is here to here. And then you build signals and all kinds of stuff. There's a lot. There is a lot that has to be done. You need to sit right there. Are milestones a bit like credit, showing how capable you're doing what is necessary to pay off the loans? Yes and no. So the loans are a completely separate thing. When you start out in the game, you have very little in terms of equipment to run your railroad. And it's very hard to build up money that way because you only get you get one passenger car, you get a coal car that is loaded, or a hopper that's loaded with coal, and you get a boxcar loaded with parts. And you get 2 locomotives, and one of them is derailed. One of them is off the tracks. So you have to work on fixing that locomotive while only having one engine running and doing everything. Eventually you get the 2 engines and they're able to work together. it takes a bit to make money, so sometimes what people will do is they'll be in the game and they'll take out a loan. Damn is right. The story on For the Railroad goes that a huge flood happened and took out a bunch of the railroad. And so you're working to rehabilitate the railroad and take it from a little short line that it's become to a class 1 mainline railroad. So people can take out loans to say, okay, well, I really need this other piece of equipment because everything is piling up in this tiny railroad. So you take out a loan, but it could take a couple days to pay it off. It could take till the loan ticks over and the interest payment comes in. It could be a multitude of things, literally a multitude of different things that it could theoretically be. So this is a little industry here, and it's all about expanding and keep going. This little chunk of red right here is the main line that connects this railroad to the outside world. That's not modeled properly, but it exists to kind of be like, hey, this is where all your stuff comes from. The same thing applies to over here. This bit of track here is the other section of main line where stuff comes in. So it's all management. This whole thing is management. So you're managing every single possibility of stuff. And I was talking earlier about journal boxes. You can see right here, there is 55% of oil in this bearing. If you don't lubricate the bearings, because they are known as what is called plain bearings, where they rotate on a plain bed of padding that's soaked in oil, if you don't take care of that, the pad can actually start to heat up because of the friction, and it can catch fire, which is what we call in the railroading world a hot box. And because you get a hot box, my brain is trying to figure out how this would be applicable in a job application, because with everything going on here, there seems to be a lot of applicable skills. Multitasking, time management, coordination, prioritization. That's something that you can put. You can prioritize. You can say that you understand when what it feels like when equipment is failing, so you know when to make reports. You know how reporting works, money management, stuff like that. There's a lot that can be in this. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to back this passenger train down. That reminds me, I need to focus on the short line. Did you just arrive? No, I think you were about to leave. So yeah, there's a lot. And mods make it all the more fun. Because these passenger cars right here, modded in. Those aren't actually in the game. This one is, but the paint scheme on it is a mod. Itself, that's a mod. The lettering on the side, that is also modded. This baggage car is modded. I love how much video game skills are transferable, right? These two locomotives, these are modded in. This locomotive is a mod right here. This is a mod. These two are mods right here. This is a water tender, which gives the steam locomotive more water capacity if it's going a long distance. But these two are completely dead. I'd have to restore those, and that's a whole different story. What's the condition of these cars? 95 overall. Okay, so they're in relatively good condition. There's also a mod that I have running that adds something to passengers, which is their luggage, their baggage, which is why I have this coach here and I have this coach. There's this little square right here on this coach that I'm trying my best to indicate is where the baggage goes. But since this can only hold so much, you need a second baggage car to carry the majority of the luggage. When you say cars tend to be going into the bad condition, when would you say cars are tending to go to the bad condition direction? 80% is usually my cutoff. If they're in 80% condition, I would say that they're starting to get pretty worn out. These engines, for at least a locomotive, you could push it to 70%, but the more that the engine gets beat up, the less that it can do. Because the older the engine gets, the more worn out it gets, and so it can't haul as much as, say, an engine that's in peak condition. So you got to watch out for that too. So, but you can't always be like, oh, the train's like a couple percentage points, beat up. That has to be a risk factor, safety factor down as well, if you allow it to get low. Okay, so only for the passenger cars does that apply. The locomotives do not affect the ratings of your freight or your passenger cars. It is exclusively the rail cars that are hauling the goods and the passengers that get affected. Safety only affects derailments, hot boxes, or collisions, things like that. Stuff that would damage the equipment that like insurance would get pissed at. Then you would have the issues of locomotives getting beat up and having problems with your safety rating. But otherwise, in the game at least, it doesn't affect it. So you could, in theory, have a locomotive that is like, okay, perfect example is this locomotive right here. It is at 0% health, which means it is completely shot. It cannot operate. It cannot run. So there's a lot to know about this whole system. Yes. So like this right here, this engine here is completely shot, completely dead, cannot run. I can take this engine and go either repair it to its maximum repair cap, because if you look here, it can get repaired to 100% condition. But there are some engines, do you basically have to scrap it when it hits 0%? Two options on the table for that. You could, in theory, cut it up for scrap, because there is a mod that I have for cutting it up for scrap, which is right here. This is a scrap area right here. This little section is a scrap line where you can cut engines up. You could sell it off and get your money back for whatever it's worth in scrap, which would be, its sell value is $12,500. You can't see that. But right here, it's worth $12,500. But in scrap value, it's worth almost $18,000. And it would be worth 74.2 tons of parts and 104 tons of scrap. So in theory, you could just be like, okay, well, this engine has lived its life. Time to cut it up. Or you could take the more expensive option, which is to send it to either one of the two roundhouses, so this one right here where all the locomotives are, or the one down here, and you could tell them, hey, this engine needs a complete overhaul, fix it. And it'll, the game, you set the crew up and they'll fix it stem to stern and rebuild the whole thing. So you could do one of three options. If you don't have the scrap mod, you can either sell it off or rebuild it. If you really wanted to push the boundaries of safety, you could theoretically, if it has a low repair cap, you could tell it, okay, just rebuild it to as best as you can, fix it as best as you can, and we're gonna press it right into service. Because there are some engines that are like that. I don't think I have any on the railroad, but a good example would be 6500. It was dead in the water, completely dead. I had it in a museum track, actually. I had it on just a track where it was out of the way on display. I decided that I needed it because it was a good workhorse. It's a very powerful locomotive, so I sent it to the shops to have it get rebuilt. I had the money to do that, but some people don't. So what they'll probably do is sell it off, and they would get another engine for what they got the money for. So there's a lot of things. Oh, I don't want to listen to Loser. Nope. I'll listen to that one. That one fits what I'm talking about. I just realized I need to set up this trade. There. It seems like a delicate balance, but you're managing it well. This is actually my good railroad. This is my private save that I've had to rebuild 4 different times because the game's crashed. But yeah, this one I managed pretty well. This is a steam engine. These two are diesel helpers. So. And if you also look at Days of Operation 5, that tells you how many times I've had to reset it. Because the last save I ran for like 2 months. The original save I ran for like 2 months, and then I ran the next one for a couple of weeks, and then I ran the other one for a couple of weeks. So we're on to this one. So yeah, this is the shop right here. And I've got my little shop switcher. This is a mod, this is a mod, this is a mod. But I've got my little shop switcher so that if I have stuff that just needs to be done around the area, like this little small yard, it can be done. I've got my road switcher, which can do pretty much anything. And I've got this little engine here. If I absolutely need a freight moved a short distance, it'll do it. So, yeah, that is stuff. So I'm going to set this up. You can manually drive the trains. Like, you can properly manually drive the railroad. So everything is pretty well detailed in these models. Sit, lean out. So yeah, you can properly run these things to a degree. There are a few things you can't do, like you can't actually shovel the coal or worry about the water. My one complaint about this game in terms of realism, singular complaint, is that these water glasses here that are supposed to tell you how much water is in the boiler of a steam engine actually tell you how much water is in the tender. That is the only complaint I have, is that that is not realistic. But we're gonna set up this special here. Oh yeah, that is my only complaint. So yeah, this game is pretty good. Back in the day though, when this thing first came out, oh, there was a plethora of stuff wrong with it. The sound of the locomotives going chuff, 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 chuff. After like a certain speed limit, they would just change to high speed chuffing. There was no difference. But now it's more gradual. Oh, thank you for the stretch, buddy. Oh my God, thank you for the stretch. Oh, I absolutely needed that. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. That's the sound of my shoulders popping. Oops. Okay, I gotta throw that switch there. Oh, thank you for the stretch. Thought it's been an hour since I saw you move. Oh, damn, it has been an hour. Yeah, it's been a minute. So there's 2 brakes on a steam locomotive, and on diesels there are technically 3, but in the era that this is set in, you only have the 2. You have the train brake, which sets the brakes to the entire train plus locomotive, and then you have an independent, which just sets the brakes on the locomotive. So if I set this up, you see this little bar goes red. That's all the brakes setting to all the cars. Am I... Oh, I am well off in the way. Look at that. That's the end of the train, and I'm here. So, that's not good. But I also have only so much space, so... Oh dear. Thankfully, the other train isn't going all the way down to the end, so it's not really that big of an issue. Thinking of the time I actually need to get some food. Go get some food. Oh, I'm just 2 cars too long. Damn. Yeah, no, go for it. Lurk. By all means. There's even a command for it, I think. I'm almost positive there's a command for it. Thanks for the lurk, man. Be sure to log back in at some point. You don't want to miss anything. Actually, thinking about it, I should probably... Yeah, after this run, I should send the vigilante in for repairs. All right, there we go. I might have to move the special. Yeah, because I want to be able to run the special at least once. So if I do this, there we go. I can put the special there. Actually, thinking about it, I should give this thing a water tender while I'm at it. Where's the water tender? We'll label this one 145X. And we'll go fill it with water, which shouldn't take too long. Oh, I can't stand that. Nah, put it. Yeah, there we go. In theory, the railroad should be fine if I fuck off and use the can. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, everything should be good in theory if I just temporarily fuck off. Not the right time for that one. All right, I'll be right back. Oh, shoot. Hang on. Wait a hot second. Whoa, Halo. Hi. I saw that just as I was about to get up. Welcome in, Uncontrolled. Welcome in. Holy crap. Glad to have you here. It's good to see you. Welcome into the... Take your time. I'll be here when you get back. All right, fair enough. Thanks for the understanding. I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I don't have any control over the music except for which songs I skip, so if something weird or wacky played, I'm sorry. Oh no, it's still on the same song. Okay, hi, I'm back. I also grabbed myself something to eat because I need to, take care of myself. We're going to be starting the officers special here pretty soon. Oopsies. So, we're probably going to open this up. See how well this goes. Pleasure to see you, Uncontrolled. If you don't mind me asking, you a streamer as well, or just hanging out? That is a massive local. Lol, mine are tiny. Yeah, I've got a lot of mods. I've got a lot of mods. Quite a few. So, I do stream, but right now just hanging out. That's cool. Glad to have you here. It's a pleasure to have you hanging around. This is my first trial with this. The reason I wanted to do a special today is to trial for the upcoming YouTube event that I'm doing, which I'll be discussing during the officer special. So I wanted to trial at least to make sure that I could actually handle it before anything goes wrong in the actual event. So here's to hoping. Trying to figure it all out. Yeah, that makes sense. But I've got plenty of fuel. I'm gonna have this extra water tender so that if things hit the did I put that in the frickin'... Oh no, did I forget to put that mod in the dock? I think I forgot to put this mod in the dock, because this is not a... That water tender is not a Nexus mod. I did. I forgot to put that in there. Oops. That would be important. That would be important to have that in the list. Okay. That correction has been made. The water is filled in the tender. Let's send the engine back, and then I'll open up the save to whoever wants to join. We're going to be running a single run, not a round trip. We're going to run from Dillsboro to Bryson. Just to make sure that the route is along with a fully operational railroad if this all goes to plan. Okay, they did fix that problem. Thank God. There was an issue with the mod a while back where it would just collide with everything. And they definitely fixed that, so that's good. I need to back this up just a hair, get it out of the block. Okay. I am hesitant to do this. But That's not how you spell it. No. I do not like Mamma Mia. All right. Let's hope this goes well. Okay. Access control. Remove that. 32. So if anybody wants to join, the excursion is open. It's a single track run. It's a one way. We're gonna see how well this goes. Just hoping it all turns out the way I want it to. I would, but I'm trying to figure out my train slow. That's okay. We're still gonna, you know, if you manage to catch literally any of it, that would be incredible if you do. But if you don't, no problem. We're gonna be running it ourselves anyway. This is a very unplanned, spur-of-the-moment excursion, but I think it'll do well. I feel like I'm wasting my time with passenger train slow. I just made $2. Dude, I know that pain right now. That's why I have 4 different passenger trains. I have one that runs Silva to Andrews, one that runs Andrews to Silva, one that runs Alarka to Alarka Junction, one that runs Alarka to Silva and back, and one that goes Silva to Andrews and back, but it's the express. That's more than 4. I just realized that. That is more than 4. Oops. I can't count good. Well, that's a bizarre way for you to go. 6500 was actually going to do the excursion originally, but I had it all the way in Nantahala, so it made no point in going all the way that way just to grab it. Oh, I can't grab that car. And there's one there too. Shite. And one right there. Ah! I can't grab literally anything I need to. Okay, how close is the local? Right there. Right there. I guess I can send you here. Get it out of the way. I love how Thunderstruck is the song that's playing for those who are showing up live, and there's a thunderstorm in game. Freaking brilliant. And the first song, the lyric I forgot is the railroad track lyric. Okay, our first charter stop is going to be Barker's. That is our first charter stop. Oi, oi, Wacky Steve! Welcome in! Hello! We're just about to kick off our excursion here. It's an officer's special, which means anybody who is showing up in the chat is more than willing to come and join the railroad. It is open. Right now there is no password, but it's set up so that nobody can break anything. So we're about ready to take off here. So if anybody shows up in the next couple minutes or so, they'll be able to catch a ride. If they don't, we're gonna be just hosting it regularly. So we'll see how it goes. I wish I could hop in. I mean, technically you are hopping in. You're in the chat, so that counts. That absolutely counts. At least in my book, it counts. There will be another opportunity coming up. I'm going to talk about this before we depart. We are going to have another public excursion, but not on this railroad. On the Northwestern Railroad, which is the YouTube series that I am doing. We're going to be hosting that December 23rd at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time over on YouTube. We'll be hosting it over there. If you want to be able to get yourself booked in a ticket, join the Discord. There is a ticket section in the Discord where you can get yourself a ticket, which will send me a thing, and we'll give you all the information that you need about when the excursion is, where it's going, what the excursion's about, the timetable, everything. It'll all be there in the Discord. So this is kind of trying to gather enough people. We've got 30 slots available, so we're hoping that we get at least 10 people to show up. That is our goal, is 10 people. So if you don't have the mods we have, don't worry, we have a mod list. It's all Unity mod managers, so you don't have to worry about that. And if it does go well and we are able to get at least 10 people, we will do future excursions as well. So this is kind of our big trial here. I'm mostly concerned about getting chased by the Express. That is my main concern. All right, 30 seconds till departure, roughly. 30 seconds till departure. So far, nobody's shown up, but that's okay. And with that, our excursion begins. What am I doing? I have a map. I can just throw switches from here. Our first excursion is off to the races. Our first scheduled stop is Barker's for a photo run by. But this is how the excursion is essentially going to be, with the exception of whoever joins. We will have photo run-by opportunities, like I previously stated. We will have that opportunity. But yeah, this is kind of the plan, is how it's going to work. So this is our trial. Actually going to close that because it actually hampers my views more than it helps. What song is playing? Oh, the extended version of Black Betty. Should probably set the points here at Barker's. So anyway, how we doing, Wacky Steve? How's it going? It's been a hot minute since I seen ya. You have an approach at Gov Island. Why? That's why. So I know the H key is to blow the whistle, but it only pulls it down a little bit. Is there a way to get rid of that to do a full pull? Shift H. Or you can press V and move your mouse. And you can do it that way. So there are two ways to blow the whistle. You can press H and shift H, or you can hold down V and blow the whistle that way. Shift H, thank you. You're welcome. Gotta keep an eye on this here real quick. I've been doing half-assed whistle blasts on my rails. You know what? That's sometimes you got to. But yeah, shift age.
Are you still alive?
Yeah, I'm still live.
When you're done, I'll give you a cake.
Yes. I'll try to make it happen, okay, kid? My niece, everybody. She doesn't quite know how the whole streaming thing works, so she's trying to learn. I'm almost certain that the Express is hot on my tail. Hold on a second. We're gonna come to a stop here for a photo charter.
Never mind. Bethany wanted to know if we were going to Casey's.
I told her yes.
I didn't know you told her that.
That's okay. All right. More family things. Okay. The Express hasn't quite left yet, so we can probably get this photo run by in. So we're gonna prep for the photo run by. Here we go. First photo run by. What song is this? 9 to 5? I can't hate Dolly Parton. I can't. All right, here we go. I'd say that was largely successful. That was a good photo run by right there. Good photo run by. Let's get the train back here so we can get aboard. BRB, gonna grab a beer? Go ahead. Should I be doing this with the standard passenger train? No, but it's the only coaches I have available. Who? I don't know any of this. All right, what are you gonna give me? Why are none of these good? Come on, give me something. That works. All right, let's hop aboard. And let's continue on with the excursion. Our next stop is Whittier. Actually, I'm gonna AI this train real quick. Because I need to set you to go to where you need to go. So BRB, the excursion is still going. I want that to be known. I just got to set up this train. There we go. That's too fast. Excursion's not supposed to go over track speed. Unless you guys want another photo run by opportunity, we're gonna just beeline it for Whittier. So far, this is going really well. With just one photo stop, we're not really delaying too much traffic. This is starting to look good. This is a good run so far. I'm really chuffed about this. Pun intended. This is doing real well. This excursion is going exceptionally well for this little officer's special. I'm really looking forward to making this work on YouTube. Okay. That was definitely too early on that whistle. That's okay. We're getting into the high-speed territory here, so let's open her up a bit. There are more photo charter spots on the excursion coming up, which I will once again talk about at the end of this. Put some brakes on just for this section. All right, there we go. We're doing good. We're doing good. Okay, you were way later than I thought you were. Impromptu photo spot. Yeah, Thomas Valley would be excellent for a high-speed photo charter location. All right, let's close the throttle up. Okay, the points to Whittier are preset for me. This is good. This is really good. This is going very well for the trial. Very, very good for the trial. This is very good so far. Oh, I see a red signal, or a yellow signal. Why is there a yellow? I have no idea why there's a yellow. Not a clue. I never took that farm supply car. That's a mistake. It'll be fine. We're gonna start slowing down here for the station stop. Signal to our brakeman that we're going to be stopping here at the station. And the conductor. And there's the departure that I was waiting on. So we'll be waiting on that train for a bit. This is going very well so far, I would think. We're not encountering many delays. We're not clogging up the railroad that much. So, I mean, it's definitely looking positive. Since we are stopping here, I can make this little maneuver here. And toss the switch. Come clear of the signal. Perfect stop. That was pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Okay. We're about halfway through. It shouldn't take us too long to blitz through to Bryson. I have no idea who you are. Okay, fair enough. We're gonna listen to this instead. We gotta wait on the scheduled passenger train. These two are probably gonna clash. This train and this train. They're gonna have to pass at some point. I'm thinking either Barker's, Thomas Valley, but definitely not Coe. So it's gonna be Thomas or Coco, or Thomas or Barker's. That's gonna be the two places where we have to pass. Which this gives me a chance to send out you. Oh, I can't send you out because I'm blocking the way. So there is a small issue right now, but it's very small. And you know what? I'll send you to here. Yeah, you'll take off and go that way. In theory, I can get to Ella before it do. That should help. That should be able to get us to Ella, at least. And if it doesn't allow us to get to Ella, I'm gonna put flares down here. A little closer. Right there, 2 flares, just in case. What are the flares for? To stop the freight that's coming through. Because I've got it coming down and going into Whittier, and I don't know which track it's gonna take. So if I can stop it on at least one of the sidings, I can slip past it the other way. Moderate delay. It's a moderate issue, but it's one that I think I can solve. So because I have a lot of things I gotta do, I'm going to actually end this excursion directly in Bryson. So we're gonna slip past the passenger train, run across the bridge. There'll be opportunities probably for photographs there, maybe. And we'll just have to go from there. Because my plan for this is to actually bring these up here for repairs, provided that they need them. Because I know for a fact I'm not going to be able to beat this guy. And I'm also concerned about the express that's got to go through. So I'm worried about 2 different trains. I'm actually worried about 3 trains because there's the local that just went past us. There's the express that's going to Andrews, and then there's the interchange going to Silva. So there's at least 3 trains I've got to worry about, plus me as an extra. Because there ain't no way I'm gonna beat that freight to Gov Island. So E. Slow down for this corner. I'm just letting the train coast at this point. Yeah, I can still do this. This will still work. Still gonna work, because let me guess. Yep, you're just now passing through Gov Island, so I'll wait for you here in the sidelines at Silva. That's what I'll do. It's a good idea. This would be a good spot for photos, right here. If the railroad was pretty dormant, like it didn't have any other extra freights or anything, this would be a very good spot. I guess since we're stopping in Ella, we can set up for a photo run by across the bridge. So set those points. Yeah, okay. And there goes the express. So now I've got 3 trains to worry about. The express, me, the freight, and the local. But I'm not fully counting me because obviously I'm an extra. Just start slowing down. Oh, am I gonna fit? Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna fit. It's gonna be tight. That's a very tight fit. Oh, not really. I've got at least a couple extra lengths. And there's the freight, right on time. There's the freight right on schedule. Okay, who do I throw into the hole? I'll throw the local into the hole. Which means I need to set my points. Okay, all that's good. I need to be on track 2. Let's set up by the bridge for the final photo opportunity. Let's do this. This should be good. In all theory, we should be just fine. Taking this very carefully over the switch, at least. There we go. Okay, we're off the switch. Here we go. All right, that was pretty good. That was pretty darn good. That area was only 30 and we hit it at like in the 20s. So that's pretty good. Gotta keep moving though. Because now we've got an express on the tracks and we can't leave that thing hanging. I think Gov Island would be an excellent photo charter point. When we're done with the excursion, I'm going to be wrapping up stream. Ooh, actually, a field right here would be hella nice. Oh, that is very pretty. Oh, that would be lovely to do. Okay. Where's the express? Almost to Barker's. Ooh, that's not good, because it's going to blitz right through Barker's and Wilmot and head straight past Whittier. Oh, okay, that's a struggle bus right there. One of these two is going to be late. And that is too fast. That was almost disastrous. See, this is why I want two people running the railroad. One to actually run it and the other to have the excursion. Daughter of the Moon? No, thank you. We'll go with Fall Out Boy. Put some resistance on that. A little more. 10-pound set ought to be enough. Forgot about the double switch. Or the double crossover. I actually did forget about that double crossover. Pinch it down just a little more. Yes.
You
I'm almost done.
are
I know.
short.
I'm 6'3" and 3/4. Close the door. I'm almost done.
Short. How much?
Little longer. Just close the door. I'm almost done, kid.
You're short.
6'3" and 3/4 is not short. Close the door. You're gonna let the cats in. Nieces, what are you gonna do with them except love them? We're making pretty good time here, too. Oh, the Burke is being dumb. Go. All right, we're coming up to our last crossing. I should have ran this excursion with the Phoenix. I should have done that. I just now spotted the Phoenix right there in the corner. It's literally labeled as Officer Special. There's the Phoenix. My editor's engine. Alrighty. We should be... Yep, we're in the clear. Okay. That was pretty bloody successful. A lot of lag here because there's so much stuff going on. You're departing Whittier on time. Oh dear. Oh dear. Where's the express? Oh, the express is gonna get held up. Oh, turn too much. All right, well, we made it. No one was hurt. Railroad is still technically running on time. I say that was pretty bloody successful. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna throw the local into the yard. The local can be a little late, but I want the express to be on time. I can't send it there because this is in the way. Oh, I gotta cheat. I gotta cheat. Come on, give it, give it, give it, give it, give it, give it, give it. Sandbox. There we go. Oh God, that was close. That would have been a screw up. Oh, that was almost a mess up. I was about to say, if this doesn't slow down, I was about to get worried. Yeah, because there's the express just now hitting Thomas Valley. The local wasn't gonna make it. That was a pretty successful little special right there. And then I need to throw that back. Yeah, everything is in place. Yeah, switch line against you. I know. But I'm not going to have you run head first into the vigilante. Speaking of which, where is the vigilante? There it is. Okay, starting to fill up. Starting to get a lot of people. Not a ton, but a decent chunk. Oh, this is a perfect song to be playing looking at this trade. I love this streamliner. It is so pretty. It's ridiculously fast and overpowered too. Like, it is super strong for what it is. This is a good photo run. This is like a good helicopter scene right here. Or like a drone. But I know that drones didn't exist back then. When this takes place. There we go. We'll get some photo run-bys of the Express. Sit in the cab. Even in the rain, it looks awesome. I gotta get those cars fixed at some point. And there goes the local. All right, everything is back in order. Local's only partially delayed, but that's okay. And with that, we're gonna be wrapping up the stream here because I got things I gotta do. Save. What are we doing tonight? We doing a raid? I think we're doing a raid. Sounds like fun. Who are we gonna go after? Do we want to go Elder Scrolls, Motorsport, Dispatch? I've heard good things about Dispatch. Very good things. We could go into another Railroader stream. What are we thinking? What do we want to do? We could go to Dispatch. We could go Elder Scrolls. We could go pretty much anything at this rate. What it looks like. We got quite a few decent select. We've got at least a good 9 people to select for a raid. Excuse me. I think what are we doing here? That's a lot of mods. Holy crap. Big mod run right there on the Railroader stream. I don't know. I don't know. Let's raid Elder Scrolls. I like Elder Scrolls. I like Elder Scrolls. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this live stream. Be sure to check out the Discord, link right here. Big shout outs right off the bat to Uncontrolled and Wacky for showing up. Also big shout out to a lovely friend of mine. Let's get these shout outs rolling actually while I'm sitting here. Let's not be an idiot about this. Shout out there. Shout out there. And of course, shout out to our beloved Wacky. Go check all of these amazing people out. They are super incredible. They deserve your support. They deserve recognition. They are incredible people. You gotta show them some love. Seriously, go show them some love. And when you get over there, tell them Gamer sent you. But with that being said, thank you very much for everybody for watching the stream. I appreciate it. Stay tuned as tomorrow we are going to continue our Let's Play of Outlast 2. I'm scared to death of what the hell is coming next because every single turn in that game has been a fucking left. But with that being said, we're going to end this song. I love this song, but I have to end it. So, yeah, with that being said, everybody, thank you so much for sticking around. And that's a wrap, y'all. See you around next time.